Hello everybody, I'm Alex. You might see my dog Kino. He's laying down right below me. You probably can't see him, but he'll pop up at some point in the video. Today I'm trying to tune some arrows to use for 3D. These are the arrows that I'm trying to tune. They're 4550 Port Orford Cedar from Rose City Arrow Shafts. Nothing too fancy. I don't make my shafts too fancy. I dye them with RIT dye, put water-based Valspar matte clear coat on them. My cresting is just a solid acrylic paint you can get at your local Michaels or hobby store. I like shooting helical 5 fletch, mainly for indoors because they stabilize really well. Outdoors, if there's a big breeze, you'll probably get the kick left or right. Some people don't like big fletchings. I like them because it makes them look pretty. I'm shooting the Boning Classic Knox. A lot of people like the AAEs, but I'm a big boning guy. I like the big index on the side so you can just not look at it and put on a string whenever you're looking at a 3D target or an animal in the woods or a stump that you want to kill. I have 190 grains up front, and wood to wood, they're about 29 inches, weighing in around 495 grains. The reason why we're tuning these up is we shot our first 3D shoot of the season. It was rough because I was shooting the arrows here, which are my indoor arrows. These are my hunting version of my indoor arrows, but they're built the exact same. Douglas Firs from Sherwood Shafts, 60-65. I'm shooting a 45-pound Bear Montana with D97 string, and there's a quiver on it, so that all factors into how it shoots my arrows. But they weigh in around 600 grains, full length, 32 inches, 160 grains up front. These are also dyed with the same RIT dye and covered with the same clear coat, but I have a pink cap on here and 5-inch banana fletchings just so I can see them in the woods, but a black boning knock. The point on for these is 20 because I tune them for indoors as well as 20 and in 3D shooting. But I'm realizing as I'm getting into shoots like the Muzzy shoot or longer shots to try to get my close game really dialed in, that a point on at 20 yards is not really doing it for me, because if the point of my arrow is on the target, I end up moving my head trying to peek to see where the arrow's going, or just having a little bit of target panic because I can't see where I actually want to hit. So that's why we're shortening it up to these 29s. As you can see, it's, you know, you're losing 2 inches of arrow, but you make up for it on the tip a little bit. But that's gonna give me a gap so I can actually see what I'm aiming at. A lot of people like putting the point on where they're aiming. I love it for indoor because it's repeatable and I can expect that the target face is gonna look the same. But if you're going for a really small armadillo and your whole point's covering that entire armadillo, I really don't like not being able to see where I want to hit, because sometimes outside you rely a little bit on your gut when you're shooting. At least I do. So we're tuning these up today, seeing how they shoot. They're built up using the Three Rivers spine chart, roughly at my draw length on this 45-pound bow. I'm shooting around 41, 42 with a 27-inch draw. So these are a rough tune based on the spine charts, and we're gonna see how they fly. So now I have 2 NFAA targets hung up down there. They are used, so don't think I'm that bad of a shot. We do have free used targets at the club. But I'm gonna shoot 5 of the new shafts at the NFAA target. I'm getting used to the gap today, so I'm gonna gap at the same point with every single one of those arrows, and then I'm gonna do 5 of my indoor arrows point on, and we're gonna go down and see how they group, and then later on we're gonna run them through the paper to see how they actually tune coming out of the bow at 6 feet. What I'm seeing here is what I normally experience outdoors. When I gap and I'm able to see everything and there's not the arrow tip in the way, I tend to group tighter and feel more confident in my shots. Whereas when I point on, a little bit of that target panic gets into play as I get towards the center, kind of speed up, and I want to just shoot. What I'm seeing here is these shorter arrows group very, very well. They come out of the bow very well, and I'm gonna be honest, I cut these with my pocket knife, so they're not one-to-one exactly the same, but they group pretty darn well. These more so, it could be, I tend to collapse a little bit when I do point on, once again with the drive-by or trying to preemptively shoot and trying to fight against it. It's been something I've been working on quite a bit, getting better at it, but this is confidence inspiring for 3D. I can see what I'm shooting at. Obviously, by the groups, I can shoot more confidently and accurately with the gap versus point on or lollipopping. So I think these are the ticket for 3D, maybe even indoor. I don't know. All right, so this is round 2. We switched up the arrows. I shot these ones first the first time, and my longer arrows first this time, just to see if fatigue played into it. As you can see, on the shorter ones, fatigue played into it a little bit. I have a couple flyers. The rest are 5 and a 3. And these are doing what they normally do. Normally, I'm a 3 and in guy on the NFAA target. It is different for me switching between doing point on, so like eclipsing, my point's eclipsing right here, maybe lollipopping a little bit, depending on my finger pressure, but it's different going from this and focusing on point on and then switching to a gap. So that might be why I have a couple flyers, because I didn't come down to my full gap. And that might be why I had flyers on this one, because I went from a gap to going to point on. So it's kind of comparing apples to oranges, but we're still hitting the paper and arrows are going down range. So we're doing something right. So with these specific arrows, I think I'm gonna leave everything where it is. This knock high might be me rotating into the string a little bit with my third finger, maybe making it think that my knock is a little higher than it actually is, putting the pressure on a different level. This one was my last one, so I might have been getting a little bit mentally fatigued, so I might have collapsed and just kind of thrown it away. But these 3 were my first 3 where I was really focused. So I'm just gonna leave the arrows for right now. They look like they're tuning a little bit weak, just a touch, and I'd rather it that way to account for any of the micro collapses, which is here. It's really knock high, but you're not really seeing that much left to right. And I can always cut them down if I want to. This shows that my indoor arrows are tuned to the bow well. And the first arrows that are shot are also tuned to the bow well, but these are my full length indoor arrows, and those are going to be the arrows I'm shooting for 3D outside. And I like the way that they're tuned so far. They're tuning a little bit weak, so if I do have that target panic, add a little bit of a dicey javelina shot or a standing skunk, I'm a little bit more confident in my shot. Where these are dialed for my 20-yard point on, and I'm used to looking at that dot at 20 yards inside in the AC. Oh, hey, you made it this far. So what did we learn today? We learned a couple things. The shorter arrows do shoot better inside for me anyways, just because I can see what I'm aiming at. I might even switch to shorter arrows for indoors, but right now I'm gonna just run with the short arrows how they are, see how they shake out in the next couple 3Ds. Maybe break a couple, kind of find out. But I found that all in all, the shorter ones group, there's a lot of talk about lighter arrows, spending less time in the bow because they're going faster, so you can't influence them. And as anybody who shoots a longbow knows, a lot of them are kind of light, hence the quiver, a little bit more mass weight, but still not like a hefty mass weight recurve. So the shorter arrows might shoot better just because they get out of the bow quicker before I can move my arm or do any kind of weird bow jitsu, as people like to call it. Whereas the heavier ones move quite slow and have a bigger parabolic arc. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see me talk about longbows and wood arrows some more. All right, bye.